Exmark says the Quest can handle light commercial work. Exmark's own engine warranty says that the second you use it commercially, 3 years of coverage becomes 90 days. And their definition of commercial isn't getting paid, it's using the mower at more than one address. I read the warranty document, the current spec sheets, and a stack of owner threads going back 15 years. 7 levels of Exmark 0 turns. Here's the one that's a trap, and the exact rung where the money stops making sense.
Level 1. The batch entry. Quest E-Series, 42 or 50-inch deck. This is the machine you buy because you want the red one in the garage and you've got a flat acre to point it at. 22 horsepower Kohler, welded steel deck. 2.8 acres an hour at 7 miles an hour. Now Exmark won't let dealers advertise a price. Minimum advertised pricing. Enforced hard. Every dealer page says the same 3 words. Call for pricing. Keep that in your head because it matters later. Here's what you think you're buying versus what you're actually buying. You think you're buying a commercial Exmark. You're buying commercial wheels and commercial styling, and I'm not being cynical, that's Exmark's own wording. Their copy says the commercial features have been adapted for consumer use. Adapted, not included. Reality check. 7 miles an hour is a hard ceiling. Not a cruising speed, a ceiling. 3 acres turns a Saturday morning into a Saturday. Honest take. If your lot is flat, under an acre and a half, and that mower will never leave your property, this is genuinely enough machine. Buy it. Stop reading spec sheets. Enjoy your yard. But almost nobody stops here. They walk in for the E, see the next one on the showroom floor, and talk themselves into it. And that's the single most expensive mistake in this entire lineup. Level 2. The Trap. Quest S54-inch deck, 24 horsepower. Quest X. 48-inch fabricated UltraCut Series 3 deck, 24 horse Kohler V-twin. Heavy-duty hydro gear, 8 miles an hour. And here's the thing that makes this a trap instead of just a bad mower. The Quest X is a good machine. That Series 3 deck, same deck series Exmark puts on the commercial Radius S. It's a full mile an hour faster than the E. On paper, you look at it and you think, okay, I bought my way out of the homeowner tier. You didn't. And you won't find out until something breaks. So stop reading the spec sheet and open the warranty. Document 4504-403. Exmark's own engine warranty. 2 tables, 1 page apart. Residential use, Quest, 3 years. Commercial use, Quest, 90 days. And then the line that should end this conversation for a lot of you. I'm quoting it exactly. Residential usage means use of the product on the same lot as your home. Use at more than one location is considered commercial use. Read that again. It doesn't say mowing for money. It doesn't say running a business. It says more than one location. Load your brand new Quest X on a trailer, drive across town, cut your mother's back lawn once, and on paper, you've just converted a 3-year warranty into a 90-day one. Not because you did anything wrong, because you were nice to your mom. Smart move. If there is any chance that this mower ever touches a second address, this tier is the worst contractual value Exmark sells. Not the worst machine, the worst deal. Skip it entirely, because one rung up, the warranty stops asking you where you've been. Level 3, where Exmark actually starts. Radius E48, 54 or 60-inch Series 2 Plus decks. Kawasaki FR691 V-twin. Hydrogear Z T2800. Radius S UltraCut Series 3. ZT3100. 9 miles an hour. And here's something rare. Exmark actually publishes a price for this one. The 48-inch Radius E starts at $6,949. That's their number, on their site, not a dealer's guess. Now what does that buy you that the Quest doesn't? Not the deck, not the engine, the contract. Radius E, 4 years or 500 hours. Radius S, 4 years or 750 hours. And look at which column those numbers sit in. They're identical under residential and commercial use. Exmark doesn't care how many addresses you mow. Drive to 12 properties a week. The warranty doesn't flinch. That's the whole jump. You're not buying features, you're buying a machine that's allowed to leave your driveway. Mechanically, you also get 9 miles an hour on the S, 2 more than a Quest, which across a full season is entire afternoons handed back to you. A full suspension seat with 3 inches of travel, 23-inch drive tires, and a maintenance schedule down to 2 grease points a year. Reality check. The E is still the bottom commercial rung. Lighter hydros, simpler deck. And the forums are fair about this. Plenty of operators think Exmark's entry commercial pricing runs steep against Deere and Toro for equivalent steel. That's a real criticism, not a nitpick. My pick? The Radius S. The Series 3 deck and the suspension seat are the 2 things you physically feel on every single pass. But there's one more step, and for about 4 out of 5 of you watching, it's the last one that matters. Before we get into that, if you're enjoying this far, please drop a like and hit subscribe for more videos like this one, and it genuinely helps us. Now, moving on. Level 4. The Stop Line. Radius X, UltraCut Series 4 deck.
MagStop PTO clutch, and Kawasaki FX Series power. FX801 on the 52, the 999 cubic centimeters FX921 on the 60. Cyclonic air filtration, pressurized lubrication, 10 miles an hour. Lazer ZE, same Series 4 deck, but on the actual Lazer Z chassis. Unitized hydro gear pump and motor units instead of transaxles. Redesigned discharge chute. 9.5 gallons of fuel. 10 to 11 miles an hour. Quick note on that. Exmark's copy says 11. Dealer sheets say 10. The FAQ says 10.5. It's somewhere in there. Nobody's lying. The numbers just come from different test configs. And the warranty steps again. 5 years or 1250 hours, with no hour limit at all for the first 2. Here's the decision this level actually presents. You're choosing between the most upgraded version of the small commercial frame or the plainest version of the chassis that built the company. Radius X is the best small machine. Lazer ZE is the cheapest real one. Reality check. On a flat 1-acre lot, this is too much mower. Overbuying here is the same mistake as buying level 2, just with a bigger number attached. And this is the line. 80% of you watching should stop shopping right here. Everything past this point gets bought by people whose mower has to pay for itself.
So who's the top half of this lineup actually for? People for whom mowing isn't a chore. It's an invoice. Level 5. Pro Territory. The Lazer ZS. 52, 60, or 72-inch UltraCut Series 4, or 60 and 72-inch rear discharge. Kawasaki FX801 at 25.5 horse, or Kohler EFI. 10 miles an hour, 12 gallons of fuel, a full working day without touching a pump. Exmark calls the S-Series the core of countless professional fleets, and for once, the marketing line matches what the forums say. What you're buying here isn't speed, it's uptime. 5 years, 1250 hours, and a machine Exmark rates at 2 to 3,000 plus hours with proper maintenance. The question stops being, will this cut my grass? And becomes, how many lawns will this survive? Reality check. For a homeowner, there is no benefit here. None. You're paying for durability you will physically never consume. Smart move, and this is the most useful thing in this video, a well-maintained used commercial Lazer Z with 500 to 1500 hours on it will beat a brand new residential machine comfortably. But go in with your eyes open. Budget around $750 for a clutch and a couple of spindles somewhere near the 1000-hour mark, and flush the hydros and change the filters the day you get it home. Cheap only stays cheap if you can service it. And then there's the one that isn't a step up at all. It's a step sideways. and it exists to solve a problem no amount of horsepower can touch. Level 6. The Branch. The Vertex gets its own tier for the same reason a G-Wagon does.
It's not further up the ladder, it's off to the side. 32 inches to 72. And you don't buy one for power, you buy one for gates, trailers, and how many times a day you get off the machine. The 32 and 36-inch models UltraCut Series 3 decks, Kawasaki FS 600V, hydro gear pumps with Parker wheel motors, 7.5 miles an hour walk through a standard backyard pedestrian gate that no rider on this list can fit through, that's the entire pitch. And it's enough. Surprise goat, the Vertex X Series. 72-inch UltraCut Series 6 deck, Kawasaki FX 1000, 14 gallons of fuel, over 7 acres an hour, and here's the part people miss. It rides on the same formed and welded tubular steel frame and the same 15-inch casters as the Lazer Z. Lazer Z bones, Lazer Z deck, and it takes up a fraction of the trailer. Then there's route time. The operator doesn't unbuckle, swing an armrest, and climb down to move a hose or open a gate. He steps off the back, deals with it, steps on. Do that 40 times a day, and it compounds. Reality check. You're standing for 8 hours. Your knees are the suspension. For a homeowner with one open lawn, this is all downside, which leaves the top of the ladder, where it stops being a mower and starts being a payroll decision. Level 7, the final boss. The Lazer ZX is the top of the gas range. UltraCut Series 6, red technology, up to a 38 horse Kohler EFI, decks from 52 all the way to 96 inches. Across live listings, the entire 2026 Exmark gas lineup runs from about $2,900 to just under $20,000. The X lives at the top of that. And then there's the Diesel, a 144-inch Lazer Z Diesel, around 43 horsepower of Yanmar 3-cylinder turbo diesel, common rail, a 48-inch center deck with two 48-inch hydraulic wings that flex 20 degrees up and 15 degrees down to follow ground, then fold vertical for transport. 2-speed drive low range for torque, high range for 17 miles an hour in transport. The deck drive has no belts at all. It's a wet clutch in the transmission, running a drive shaft to a right-angle gearbox. 12 feet of cut in one pass. 11.5 acres an hour. Exmark designs it to replace up to 3 72-inch mowers. One truck, one trailer, one operator, doing what used to take 3 of each. Now the price. I'm going to be straight with you. Nobody publishes one. Not Exmark, not the dealers. Every number floating around online is either placeholder data or somebody's guess. It's a dealer quote, and it's more than a lot of pickup trucks. That's as far as I'll go, because that's as far as the evidence goes. But here's the part I didn't expect. Buried in Exmark's own spec sheet for this machine is a footnote about how they calculate acres per hour. They point out that most manufacturers quote at 100% efficiency, and then say they think 80% is more honest. Because real mowing has turns and overlap. And they print both formulas so you can check them. Which means that 11.5 acres an hour figure, it's already been cut by 20% before they printed it. They're advertising a smaller number than they're allowed to. Reality check. Below roughly 15 acres a day, it never pays for itself. And it's the largest zero turn on the market, which is a storage and transport problem before it's ever a mowing solution. So, the trap is level 2. Not because the Quest X is a bad mower, it isn't. Because it's a good mower, sold under a contract that expires the moment you're useful to a neighbor. The spec sheet flatters it, the warranty tells the truth. The real range is levels 3 through 5, radius E to Lazer Z S. That's where the engineering finally matches the money, and where the paperwork stops treating you like a suspect. And treat it as a path, not a ranking. Start on a radius when you've got real acreage. Move to a Lazer ZE when the machine becomes the slow part of your Saturday. Step up to the S when it's earning. Below the radius, you're renting the badge and hoping nobody checks where you mowed. Above the Lazer ZS, you're not buying a mower anymore, you're buying a smaller crew. The best Exmark isn't the biggest one you can finance, it's the one whose warranty still covers you on the day it breaks. If this saved you from buying 90 days of coverage at 3-year prices, the next one goes inside these machines and shows you the single component that decides whether a zero turn sees 2,000 hours or dies at 600. I read the manuals, so you don't have to.